everybody. My name is Ed Coleman. I am the executive director of the Austin Chamber. I missed the AAA B&A meeting this morning for good reason. I'm on the City of Chicago Neighborhood Opportunity Fund Advisory Committee. And they have meetings periodically to determine which grant applicants are going to receive NOF grants. It's been represented well here in the community of Austin over the last few years, and I keep going to these meetings to make sure that Austin and the West Side get their due in terms of NOF grants and so forth. This is a good thing. In terms of, so my apologies to Malcolm if you see him again, by the way. In terms of business, well, some of you may not know, the Austin Chamber of Commerce is focused on making the Austin business community a thriving business community. I actually took on the role of executive director about a year ago. I had been retired for a while. Some of you may know I was the CEO of Westside Forward, and before that, Bethel New Life. And so I've been involved in economic development for 15 years or so here on the West Side. And there is some people don't think of blues and music in general as a form of business, but it's a necessary aspect of the business community. All you gotta do is listen to the radio long enough to know it's been that way for quite a few years. Blues itself is one of my favorite genres, along with jazz and a few others. I'm not so much into certain others like rap. And it's necessary to educate youngsters about why various various forms of music are important. Blues, jazz, classical. I like classical music, and so forth. I think it's good to see that we got some young people in here because they need to be exposed to what's happening in the music industry in general, and blues in particular. Anybody here see the movie Sinners? So you saw the emphasis of that movie. I'm happy they made that movie because it sort of put the spotlight on what's happening in the blues industry, and you probably saw that Michael B. Jordan won the Best Actor for Oscar for starring in that movie, playing twins and so forth. I thought that was a fabulous movie. I love the emphasis they put on blues, and we need to see more emphasis like that put on the blues community. So I'm just happy that we got people here to think about what's happening with blues and music in general, but blues specifically, and to do all we can to promote this industry as we go forward well into the 21st century and beyond. So I don't know what else I can say. Anybody have any comments on what I said? That's fine. I'll answer any questions.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Bonnie was speaking about, I guess, going to expand this whole area.
Again, if Malcolm were here, he'd talk in a lot. He has a lot more details than I do. Again, I missed the meeting, but the state of Illinois originally dedicated the west part of Chicago Avenue in the city as a corridor, Soul City corridor. There's eventually going to be a monument put up. I've had some communication with powers that be in the city. I know this was requested a few years ago. It's overdue, but there's going to be a monument put up on the west end of Chicago Avenue near the intersection of Oak Park and Chicago. That monument is going to say Soul City, etc. It's been expanded from a corridor to a district. The state said, yeah, let's make it a district. So as Bonnie indicated, from North Avenue, all the way to Madison, there's gonna be the Soul City District on the west side of Chicago. And it's going to recognize, for tourists and so forth, it's gonna recognize the historic value of what's happened in this part of the city. So yeah, that's happened, yeah. Yeah.
Howard, you want to give us some background about education? You know, there's been no music in the schools for 30 years. And if you ask me, people wonder why the kids are going wild. Well, can you address that, Howard?
Sure. By 1979 is when they took music and arts actually out of the school because they said budgetary cuts. And it's interesting, that was the first thing to go, of all the things they take out. And a lot of the schools haven't recovered from that to this very day. And so we feel it's imperative that we fill in that gap and continue to teach the young people about the importance of our music. And so it's a non-for-profit called Chicago West Community Music Center. And we started that in 1999. And we do music classes wherever there's a desire or a need. We go to community centers, churches, schools, parking lots, wherever there's some folks who are really interested about learning about music. We've been able to continue to educate, take music into those locations, and work with some of the great artists that are out of our community, and like the Taylor family, and some other greats that most of us never even heard of before, have not get the proper exposure. And that's something we want to do, is to continue to let not only our folks know in the community, but let the world know about the important things which have happened in this community and continue to happen. In fact, we're actually working on a documentary film about the music history of the west side of Chicago. And as I continue to research, it's just amazing so much that has come out of the community. And it's imperative that, again, that we teach our young people about history. I think most folks realize that the blues was not born in Chicago, but I don't think anybody would argue that it grew up here in Chicago. You think about the artists, and it's a long list of artists. Again, I'll talk about the Taylor family, Willie Dixon, Billy Branch. It goes on and on. Howlin' Wolf. Many of these people were on the west side and played an important role. I was just looking at the pictures out there, which are remarkable. The first time I had a chance to look at the pictures of the Blues Museum. You know, we had record companies here on the west side. There was one called Coleman Records. Who recorded there was, I always hear about Tina Turner, but her husband, Ike Turner, was one of the really first guys who really played what they want to call rock and roll. He did that over on the west side, right about Roosevelt Road. But again, all these artists came out of this community. So I think it's important that we talk about that, we educate our young folks, and there's still music coming out of the community. It's important we continue to move forward with the music. And that's really interesting. I hope we can continue to develop the business aspects of it. As Larry was saying, millions and actually billions of dollars are generated in the music industry each year. And a major part of that is blues music, but we've been pretty much eliminated from that revenue flow. Very, very few of us are getting those monies, and believe me, billions of dollars are exchanging hands. And there's stories which Larry can tell, I'm sure others can tell as well, of how our music has been taken, stolen, manipulated, and still being used today. And the originators of it are not getting credit for that. Hoping, as you said, as the business develops, what amazes me, when folks come to Chicago and they go to blues clubs, and as far as I know, there aren't any existing blues clubs on the west side. And you say back in the 50s and 60s, there were blues clubs, lounges all over the place. And people from all over the world would come to hear the real music. But now they'll go downtown or north side to hear blues. This just doesn't make sense. And there's so many opportunities, I think, business-wise, that we should be able to generate more income for our community. I mean, we should have clubs. They have tours at every part of the city. I don't know if we have one on the west side. We should have tour buses taking folks around the different places which are significant, historically significant. We talk about landmarks, things of that matter. So there's ways that we should be able to generate interest and income for our communities. We should have more schools, we should have more folks being able to perform. We should have music all over the place, live music. One of the places we've been questioning about, I think it's called the Gazebo up on Madison. You know what I mean? This place they've been, used to just be a hangout, but they keep saying they're gonna renovate this gazebo. It's supposed to be part of the, I guess, Garfield Park plan. It's been vacant for years. So folks go downtown to Grand Park, have great music, go up to Ravinia. Why can't we go over to Garfield Park or someplace in Austin Refectory and get good music too? That good music would be great music. So there's a lot of things we can do. I hope that we can continue to like meetings like this and gain a chance to talk about it in our community. I think it's a great start.